The focus of this video is on virtual ports. Now, the typical connection that you make between one block to another is a point-to-point connection between the output port of one block and the input port of another block. And this is the default way of connecting blocks. In some designs, though, where they're quite complex and the connection scheme of point-to-point becomes unwieldy, we have developed for this purpose a set of what we call virtual ports. And these are ports that you don't connect point-to-point, but instead support virtual connections through the use of port names. And the destinations for the port can be specified in a number of ways, either as a local string in the block parameter for the virtual port, or a block diagram parameter, a memory, or a field in the transaction. You can use these ports to model a mux-demux for routing purposes, and once again it provides a great way to simplify complex designs. Consider the following block diagram. We have 4 transaction generators that will generate a transaction which will be updated through the processing blocks and sent to the virtual ports. Now, each of these virtual ports has what is called a block parameter called destination name, and in this design I have specified 4 different ways of specifying the destination. One way is to define it as a raw string. Second way is to define it as a parameter on the block diagram, which is right here. Third way is through a memory, and that memory is contained in the init memory block, and the memory destination memory has the value of string memory. And the fourth way is through through a field of a data structure. And that field is going to be specified within the processing block as it's called port field destination, which is a DS field. The corresponding port on the right-hand side, these are the corresponding virtual ports, will have a name, string, parameter, memory, and the DS field. And so this one is going to be using the raw string within the block parameter. This one will use the system parameter. This one will use the memory, and then this one will use a field of the data structure. So that when I run the simulation, I have the data structure that I specified as a virtual connection type of the raw string will be sent to the string destination. The virtual connection type of parameter will be sent to the parameter destination. The virtual connection type of the memory will be sent to the memory destination. And finally, the virtual connection type of field of the transaction will be sent to the DS field destination, all through the use of virtual ports. And once again, the purpose of these virtual ports is to greatly simplify the design so that it does not get cluttered with the point-to-point connection. This concludes our video on the virtual port.